Leo tightened his apron. He carefully guarded the secret marks on his skin. He prayed no one would ever discover them. He was, after all, a man. He had started in the residence kitchens at 14. He mastered a recipe for braised short ribs. This skill earned him the head chef's favor. Chef Miller saw him as a successor. Miller even offered his daughter's hand in marriage. But Leo's heart already belonged to someone. He politely declined the chef's generous offer. The person he loved was Daisy from Maple Street. She owned a small-town diner. Daisy was beautiful and incredibly capable. Suitors constantly tried to win her affection. But Daisy had chosen him when they were children. She had promised to be his wife. She turned away all other men for him. Leo planned to propose formally. Then his father sent him to the capital to work. On the day he left, Daisy gave him a slice of warm apple pie. She told him to eat and be strong. She promised there would always be more for him. Leo was moved to tears by her kindness. He vowed to return one day. He promised to cook short ribs for her daily. He never forgot that promise. Good short ribs required a lot of money, so he worked hard every day. He saved every dollar for his future with Daisy. But fate had a cruel twist in his 6th year. A massive state dinner was held. The kitchen was in complete chaos. It was late when the work finally ended. Leo was starving. He saw leftover short ribs on a counter. They would only be thrown away. He decided to heat them for himself. As he worked, someone stumbled into the kitchen. Leo thought it was his supervisor, Mr. Gable. He called out without turning around. He invited Gable to share the 2 remaining portions. Leo praised his own cooking. The meat was tender and rich. It melted in your mouth. Mr. Gable also loved his short ribs. The only reply was a harsh, ragged breath. Leo turned around with a sense of confusion. He froze instantly. A man stood there in a tailored dark suit. His features were sharp and handsome. He radiated an aura of immense power. This man did not belong in a steamy kitchen. It was Julian, the family's powerful son. His eyes were bloodshot. His breathing was dangerously fast. He looked ready to commit violence. Leo was terrified. He dropped to his knees and begged for his life. He explained that he was only hungry. He pleaded for mercy from the powerful man. Julian was known for his calm demeanor. But now he grabbed Leo from the floor. He pinned him against the cold steel countertop. As they got closer, Leo saw sweat on Julian's brow. His eyes showed a desperate struggle for control. The strong scent of whiskey made Leo's nose wrinkle. Leo cautiously asked if he was drunk. Julian looked down. His intense gaze locked onto Leo. He whispered a single word. "You." Leo stared back in utter confusion. The man was clearly intoxicated. He must have mistaken him for someone else. The pot on the stove bubbled softly. The rich aroma of short ribs filled the air. Leo swallowed hard. Julian also swallowed. Leo suggested Julian was hungry too. He offered to check if the food was ready. As Leo glanced at him, Julian leaned down. He pressed his lips against Leo's. Leo's mind went completely blank. He was too stunned to resist at first. What was happening? He was being assaulted in the kitchen. Assaulted by a man. Julian was rumored to avoid women. It seemed he preferred men instead. Leo finally started to struggle. He tried to push Julian away. He pleaded for Julian to see him clearly. He was just a kitchen worker. If Julian liked men, others could be arranged. Better men could be sent to his room. He told Julian not to be so desperate. Tears streamed down his face. Julian told him to shut up. His resistance was useless. With a strong tug, Leo's shirt tore open. Afterward, the powerful man slept against the wall. Leo held his aching back. He stumbled away on trembling legs. Tears blurred his vision. "Daisy, I am so sorry. I can never marry you now." The next day, Leo claimed he fell and hurt himself. He received half a day off. Mr. Gable told him to see the residence doctor. On his way, he saw security staff rushing everywhere. Something big had happened. His friend Sam, a senior staff member, pulled him aside. Sam whispered that Julian was drugged at the dinner. They were now hunting for the culprit. Leo felt a cold dread. The horrible memories made his body shake. His bruised body ached even more. Sam added more startling news. Julian had been with a female staff member, but the woman vanished. Julian ordered a search of the entire residence. He wanted that woman found. Leo asked what would happen to her. Sam looked around before whispering again. She would be killed, of course. Who knew if she was the one who administered the drug? Many women in the residence wanted power. They would do anything to get it. A chill ran down Leo's spine. His body trembled uncontrollably. If they discovered it was him, he was doomed. His identity as a man would make it worse. The scandal would be a stain on the family. Sam also mentioned Julian was with the doctor. He was in a terrible mood. Sam advised Leo to avoid him. Leo had been about to walk forward. He quickly pulled his foot back. He thanked his friend for He turned and hurried back to the kitchen. He decided it was best to hide. He never expected Julian to come to the kitchens himself. All the staff were lined up. Julian squinted, studying the female workers. He whispered something to his security chief. The women were then dismissed. Leo's heart hammered in his chest. He worried Julian had discovered something. The marks on his body had not yet faded. A physical inspection would reveal everything. Julian offered a mild, disarming smile. He asked everyone to introduce themselves. The staff exchanged confused glances. No one understood the reason for this, but no one dared to disobey the order. Soon it was Leo's turn. He stated his name was Leo. He was 20 years old. His specialty was braised short ribs. He watched Julian's face as he spoke. Julian's expression was neutral. Leo felt a wave of relief. Before he could relax, Julian spoke again. He ordered Leo to stay behind. Everyone else was told to leave. Leo's mind raced. He desperately tried to think of an escape. Julian walked toward him with a smile. He told Leo not to be nervous. Leo tried to steady his trembling legs. He insisted that he was not nervous. Julian's smile widened. He would not eat him, he said. You might not eat people, but you kill them. Leo was about to cry from fear. Julian had taken his innocence. Now he wanted to take his life. Daisy, I am sorry. I will never see you again. Julian then clarified his intentions. He had a different reason for keeping Leo. He simply liked his short ribs. He had asked for special permission. Leo was to become his personal chef. Good news. Julian did not recognize him. Bad news. He was now Julian's private cook. Better news. The pay was doubled. The good and bad balanced out. Leo quickly packed his things. He moved to Julian's private wing. Julian ate more short ribs than anyone Leo had ever met. He demanded them for every meal. He ate braised, steamed, and pan-fried versions. He never seemed to tire of the dish. He even had a small, private kitchen built just for it. The manager showing Leo the new kitchen spoke in awe. He said Julian rarely showed his emotions. He had served him for over a decade. He had never seen him so fond of one dish. The manager patted Leo's shoulder. He advised him to work hard. Pleasing Julian would ensure a bright future. Thank you. The phrase bright future made Leo uneasy. Working in the private wing was strange. The busy Julian was not so busy. He often came to the small kitchen. He would sit on a stool. He rested his chin on his hands and watched Leo. He called it quality control. But his gaze made Leo uncomfortable. Felt like he was watching Leo, not the food. His eyes traveled from Leo's head to his waist, then lower. Leo shifted uncomfortably. He suggested that a person of Julian's status should not be there. Julian just smiled brightly and said he liked it. Leo's hand slipped. The knife veered off course. He narrowly avoided cutting himself. Julian was handsome. In all the people Leo had met, he was second best. First place would always belong to Daisy. Leo refocused on his task. He expertly prepared the short ribs. He browned them with sugar and secret spices. He added aromatics and hot water. Soon, the kitchen was filled with a rich scent. Leo's mouth watered. Julian suddenly spoke. He asked if Leo had come to the residence at 14. Leo confirmed this while fanning the pot. Julian noted that it had been 6 years. He remarked that Leo must miss visiting his parents' graves. Leo's parents were very much alive. Why would he visit their graves? Seeing Leo's confusion, Julian paused. He asked if his parents were still living. Leo carefully replied that they were. He could not understand Julian's strange shift in mood. He reminded Leo of a neighbor back home. She had the same expression. It was when she learned her boyfriend had cheated. Julian then asked where his home was. Oakhaven, third house from the village entrance. Julian's face darkened further. He pressed for another location. He asked if it was the third house in Mill Creek. Leo found this very odd. He said he had never even been to Mill Creek. He asked why Julian would think that. Suddenly, Julian slapped his thigh and stood up. Leo jumped, startled. He wondered what he had said to upset him. Before Julian could speak, the manager called from outside. Julian let out a frustrated sound. He stormed out of the kitchen. Leo overheard parts of their conversation. He caught words like Senator Thorne and sabotage. The manager later said Julian was angry. Someone had provoked him. Everyone in the private wing who entered his study was thrown out. Julian then specifically demanded Leo's personal service. Leo nearly collapsed in fear. He insisted he was only a cook. He knew nothing but short ribs. Sending him in would only make things worse. As he finished speaking, Julian's voice came from the study. It was cold and unpredictable. Leo, get in here. Okay then. Leo instinctively ran inside. As he crossed the threshold, he stopped. The situation felt eerily familiar. An unpleasant memory surfaced. It was a memory of a young nobleman, a boy who constantly ordered his rescuer around. Their tone of voice was remarkably similar. When Leo was 12, he was in the woods. He found an unconscious boy by a creek. Blood from a wound stained the water red. Leo worried about getting into trouble. He almost left him there. But Daisy liked kind people. So he moved the boy to a nearby cave. He applied herbs to the wound. He left the boy's survival to fate. When Leo returned later, the boy was awake. After Leo explained what happened, the boy began giving orders. He commanded Leo to bring him things. He demanded help with his bandages. He was used to being in charge. Leo found himself surprisingly obedient. Later, the boy's people arrived to retrieve him. He asked Leo to come with him. He promised him a life of wealth and luxury. Leo saw the masked, black-clad security team. He shook his head in terror. The boy demanded a reason. He seemed ready to have his men kill Leo. So Leo told a lie. He could not remember what it was now. It had been 8 years. Julian's voice broke through his memory. He told Leo to come closer. Leo approached him. He asked what Julian needed. Julian looked up at him. He asked why Leo stood so far away. Leo explained he was worried about the kitchen smell. Julian's expression was a mix of amusement and annoyance. He demanded the real reason. He threatened punishment for dishonesty. Leo lowered his head. He admitted the door was closer. It would be easier to run if Julian got angry. Leo. Julian laughed. It sounded like he was laughing through gritted teeth. He was not a monster. Leo did not need to be so afraid. Honestly, Julian was a kind master. His wing of the residence was peaceful. It was not like other tense areas. If not for that one night, Leo would not fear him. He also heard Julian wanted to kill the person. That made him very afraid. Julian sighed. He beckoned Leo closer. Leo walked to his desk. Julian instructed him to prepare some documents for signing. Leo's hands were used to chopping meat. They were clumsy with such delicate work. He fumbled with a pen. A drop of ink splattered onto his face. He instinctively tried to wipe it. He then noticed Julian staring at him intently. He quickly apologized. Julian's eyes softened into a smile. "Little smudge," he said. He gestured for Leo to bend down. Leo hesitated, then complied. A soft handkerchief wiped his cheek. The fabric was smooth and smelled faintly of cologne. The motion was gentle. Julian's expression was focused. Leo could see his own reflection in Julian's dark eyes. He felt a strange warmth spread through him. His toes curled inside his shoes. He asked if it was done. Yes, Julian smiled. He held up the ink-stained handkerchief. All clean. Thank you. Leo's mind was elsewhere. Ink stains were hard to wash out. The laundry staff would probably complain. He thought about giving them some short ribs later. They also enjoyed his cooking. Julian returned to his work. He sometimes frowned in concentration. Sometimes his expression cleared. He occasionally chewed on the end of his pen. Then he would write with a sudden burst of energy. Leo stood by, watching these small actions. He did not find it boring. This powerful man, so high above everyone else, was human. He was just like any ordinary person. He had emotions and vulnerabilities. Suddenly, Julian put down his pen. He looked at Leo with a raised eyebrow. He asked if Leo planned to let him die of thirst. Leo realized his oversight. He quickly refilled the empty coffee cup. Julian took a small sip. He then asked a casual question. He wanted to know if Leo, at his age, had someone special. It seemed like idle chat, but it also felt like a test. Leo said that he did. Julian leaned forward with interest. He rested his chin on his hand. He asked what this person was like. Leo began to list Daisy's qualities. She was beautiful, smart, capable, and kind. The more he spoke, the brighter Julian's eyes became. It reminded Leo of his dog back home. That dog got the same look when praised. Leo silently scolded himself. He should not compare the powerful Julian to a dog. Julian then asked if he remembered her name. How could he forget? Her name was Daisy Miller. She was 2 years older than him. Her family lived at the foot of the mountains near Oakhaven. They moved to Maple Street when she was 10. They opened a diner. Leo recounted every detail about Daisy with pride. Thinking of her made him think of her sweet apple pie. A smile spread across his face. He wondered how she was after 6 years. Daisy. Julian's smile slowly vanished. His expression turned cold. He pointed to the door. He ordered Leo to get out. Leo was baffled. Why the sudden change? They had been having a pleasant conversation. Julian's moods were truly unpredictable. The matriarch suddenly summoned Leo to her suite. Sam had taught him a rule. Lowly staff were rarely called by the masters. If they were, it was for one of two reasons. punishment for a mistake, or a reward for some unknown good deed. Leo reviewed his past 6 years. He concluded he must have offended her somehow. She was going to punish him. The matriarch was a formidable woman. Sam had said the quickest way to survive was to admit fault. A swift and sincere apology could lessen the punishment. Humility was key to survival. So, the moment he saw her, Leo fell to his knees. He begged for forgiveness repeatedly. He banged his head on the floor. He wanted to show his sincerity. His dramatic display stunned everyone into silence. The first person to speak was a young woman beside the matriarch. "And is this the one?" Her voice was full of disdain. She found it shameless for a man to seduce her cousin Julian. Seduce Julian? Leo's heart skipped a beat. He denied it immediately. The matriarch's cold eyes stared down at him. "You dog! Do you still dare to lie? You were the only one in the kitchen that night. Did you think I could not find out? If Julian had not suppressed this, I would have dealt with you long ago." Hearing this, Leo's face turned pale. Julian had covered for him. He knew it was Leo all along. Why did he not punish him? Why did he bring him to his private wing? The young woman added more fuel to the fire. And imagine the scandal. If people knew Julian was with this servant. He ignores all the beautiful women around him. But he chooses a man. Who knows what dark methods he used? Her voice was soft, but her words were poison. She glanced at Leo with resentment. She continued, worried for the family's future. If he stays, he will keep seducing Julian. The family line could end. If he were a woman, he could at least provide an heir. But he is a man. The young woman sighed dramatically. The more she spoke, the darker the matriarch's face became. "Guards, drag this servant away. Beat him to death." Sam's advice was wrong. Humility did not guarantee survival. The powerful matriarch was going to kill him without a fair hearing. He thought about his 6 years of service. He had been quiet and obedient. He never caused trouble. He only wanted to go home safely. Now he was about to die. He had nothing left to lose. Even a quiet man has his breaking point. Several guards held him down. But his voice was still free. "You fool. Your son likes men. He forced himself on me. He is not just gay. He is a rapist. And you call him a prince? In any other family, he would be in jail. And you blame the victim. What is wrong with you? Is your son made of gold? Do you think everyone wants him? And you pathetic little instigator. I know what you are doing. You are just jealous. You want your cousin for yourself. Since you cannot have him, you eliminate everyone else." The guards beat him while he shouted. The matriarch finally ordered them to gag him. He did not know how many blows he took. The pain was blinding. He thought he saw a river. On the other side was his old dog, long dead. The dog was wagging its tail happily. He called out to it. He tried to run toward it. A voice suddenly asked who the dog was. He stopped, confused. The world around him was empty. It was just him and his old friend. They were running through fields and playing in streams. The voice asked again. He swatted at it in annoyance. There was a sharp sound. He opened his eyes. He was looking into a pair of clear, dark eyes. The person was holding their cheek and smiling at him. "You have a strong swing, Julian." Seeing him now was awkward and scary. Leo thought he was dying. He had cursed Julian and his mother. That was a serious crime. He never expected to be alive. He wished his old dog would just take him away. He spoke awkwardly. "Sir, weren't you out of the city?" Julian gently wiped the sweat from Leo's forehead. "Someone informed me after my mother took you. I came back immediately. Leo, I am sorry. If it were not for me, you would not have suffered. I brought you to my wing to protect you. I did not expect my mother to act while I was gone." Julian looked down, seeming to feel guilty. What he said was true. This was all his fault. Leo lost his innocence. He was slandered and beaten. He was physically and mentally exhausted. So he said nothing. "It will not happen again." Julian pressed a heavy, gold medallion into Leo's hand. "If anyone bothers you when I am gone, show them this. Besides my father, no one will dare touch you." Leo knew the medallion. It was Julian's personal symbol of authority. It could command the family's private security. It was incredibly valuable. Leo asked what he should do if the father was the problem. Julian paused. He carefully tucked the blanket around Leo. Then he spoke softly. "I will stand in front of you." His expression was tender and sincere. Leo got goosebumps. Why was he acting like a lover confessing his feelings? If someone saw this, they would accuse him of seduction again. He quickly tried to return the medallion. "This is too valuable. A servant cannot accept it. If you truly feel guilty, just let me leave the residence." The matriarch would be relieved too. "No, Leo." Julian looked straight into his eyes. His romantic expression vanished. His refusal was immediate and firm. "You have 4 more years on your contract. Cannot overrule that." But the manager said. Julian cut him off. "Cannot overrule it." Leo replied, disappointed. He pulled the covers over his head. He wanted to sleep. Julian stood by the bed for a long time. His gaze was so intense. Felt like it could burn through the blanket. After a while, he sighed softly. "I am sorry." For the next 2 weeks, Leo recovered in bed. Several staff members attended to his every need. He experienced what it was like to be a master. The entire wing missed his short ribs. So, as soon as he could walk, he went to the kitchen. The scent of cooking meat filled the air. The manager followed the smell. He asked how much longer it would take. "Soon," Leo replied. He asked if Julian was back. He wanted to serve him first. The manager sighed deeply. "He is back. He is drinking alone in his study." "What is wrong?" Leo asked. Julian was not usually a heavy drinker. The family arranged a marriage for him. He refused. Now he is under house arrest. Leo was surprised. Why would he refuse? The manager looked at him with a complicated expression. "You really do not see it?" Leo was confused. Poor Julian. I have served him for many years. I have never seen him care for anyone. In all this time, there has only been you. Leo stood up abruptly. His expression shifted rapidly. "Who? Me? What a strange thing to say. He is a powerful man. How could he like another man? And I do not like men either. When people are flustered, they talk and move erratically." That was Leo now. His mouth was running. His hands were waving. His toes were curling in his shoes. "Never mind." The manager looked at him again. Today is Julian's birthday, but he fought with his parents and is now confined. He must be miserable. You should go keep him company. But the manager pushed him toward Julian's study. "I will watch the food. You watch Julian." That was not a fair trade. Leo felt helpless. He wanted to avoid Julian. Inside, Julian was drinking alone. He looked sad. When he saw Leo, a small smile appeared. "What brings you here?" Seeing him, Leo's mind filled with the manager's words. He turned to leave, but the manager pushed him from behind. He silently mouthed the words, "Go on." Leo had to enter the room. He coughed awkwardly. He said the manager sent him to drink with Julian. Julian chuckled. He is always meddling. He motioned for Leo to come closer. He poured a glass and handed it to him. He asked if Leo could drink. Leo drank it all in one gulp. He smacked his lips. It did not have much taste. Julian smiled and praised his tolerance. The compliment made Leo feel bold. He drank one glass after another. Julian watched him, resting his cheek on his hand. He only drank occasionally himself. No one spoke. The only sound was the pouring of liquor. Soon, Leo felt very unrestrained. "Are you drunk?" He grinned. He put his arm around Julian's shoulder. He let out a long, boozy burp. "Not even close. Let's have another." "Leo, your behavior when drunk is terrible." Julian's voice was tinged with frustration. "Hey, it is my first time. Be patient," he said. He tried to drink another glass, but he missed his mouth. The liquor spilled down his chin. He licked the drops from his lips. He wondered where the drink went. Julian's eyes darkened. His throat tightened. "Cannot be patient." The next moment, the bottle was swept to the floor. It shattered. Julian pressed Leo down onto the table. His dark hair fell across Leo's chest. Tickled. Leo asked what he was doing. He just grunted in response. What did that mean? Leo tried to clear his foggy head. He wanted to understand the situation. Warm lips met his. His mind exploded. "Julian, be rational. You are getting married soon. Are you planning to keep me as your male lover?" Julian lifted his head. His eyes were full of deep emotion. "I will not. Leo, I will not marry anyone. I will only marry you." Leo thought Julian must be very drunk. Two men could not talk about marriage. The law, morality, and society would not allow it. That night, Leo dreamed of the boy he found. The boy said his name was Julian. He promised Leo a life of luxury. He asked Leo to go with him. The boy's face slowly merged with Julian's. Leo's eyes snapped open. He was met by a smiling gaze. "You are awake." Calloused fingertips gently brushed his cheek. "Why are you in my bed?" Leo sat up abruptly. The blanket fell away. He saw faint red marks on the other man's body. He also felt a sharp pain from behind. Julian propped himself up. "This is my room," he said casually. Leo's mind was blank for a moment. Then the memories came flooding back. "Do you remember?" Julian asked. Leo just wanted to play dead. How could he have been so reckless? He managed to speak. "Sir, last night was because we were drunk. A person who is truly drunk cannot perform." Julian smiled. His soft hair fell across his chest, covered a red mark. "Do you remember what I said last night? That he would never marry anyone else. He would only marry Leo." He had said it with such sincerity. It did not seem like a drunken whim. Leo quickly looked away. "Sir, I am just a servant. If you truly like men, you should choose one from a good family." "Leo." Julian interrupted him. A dangerous smile played on his lips. His eyes, however, were not smiling. "You already let me down once 8 years ago." 8 years ago? Leo's mouth fell open. "It was really you? You remember?" Julian's voice was low. "That year I asked you to come with me. You said you had to mourn your parents for 3 years. When the 3 years were up, I went to find you. The address you gave me was an empty lot." Shock. That is what he had said. His parents would have killed him if they knew. "Then why did you want me to come with you?" Julian tapped his head. "Because I like you, you blockhead." Leo stared at him, stunned. "Sir, a forced relationship will not be happy. I have someone I love. Please let me go. Stop talking about Daisy. She is already married. She has 2 children." Julian moved closer. "Leo, forget about another man's wife. Think about me instead. Please?" All of Leo's further protests were silenced by a kiss. Leo did not understand Julian's obsession. He also did not understand why everyone said he was lucky. But love should be mutual. Julian said he liked him, but he never asked for Leo's opinion. Leo was a simple man. His dream was to marry his childhood love, Daisy. He wanted to open a small shop. She would sell her diner food. He would sell his short ribs. They would live a peaceful life together. He had been so careful for 6 years. He was just waiting to go home. Now Julian had shattered that dream. Leo heard Julian had kneeled outside his father's office for a day. He refused all food and water to protest the marriage. His father was furious. He ordered everyone to leave him be. The matriarch came to see Leo. She looked tired and defeated. She gave him 2 choices: leave the city forever, or she would have him killed now. His presence was ruining her son's life. Leo bowed his head. He told her he had no connection to Julian. He asked to be sent away from the residence. For some reason, each word felt heavy. Something inside him felt like it was breaking. The matriarch seemed relieved by his answer. She probably thought he would cling to Julian, or demand a large sum of money. But he did neither. As he said before, Julian was not made of gold. Not everyone had to love him. The matriarch arranged for his departure. The escorts were more like guards. He could not even return to his room to pack. He had to leave behind his favorite cooking pot. As he walked out of the residence gates, it began to rain. He had no umbrella. The city he had lived in for 6 years felt foreign. He wanted to look back one last time, but the heavy rain blurred everything. "Leo, is that you?" The diner on Maple Street was now a proper restaurant. When he approached, he almost did not recognize it. Daisy saw him immediately. She was surprised and happy. "Why are you not using an umbrella? Come inside quickly." He stepped into the warm, clean shop. Daisy told him to sit. She brought him a warm slice of apple pie. The top was sprinkled with cinnamon sugar. He stirred it gently. The familiar sweet and soft taste filled his mouth. Perhaps it was the taste of home. Perhaps it was seeing a familiar face. He suddenly began to cry. "Leo, what is wrong?" Daisy asked, concerned. He did not know why he was crying. He just felt an ache in his chest. A man came out from the back. He asked his wife who the guest was. Daisy explained that Leo was the childhood friend she had told him about. The man smiled warmly. "Hello, I am Ryan, Daisy's husband. You can call me Ryan." Leo managed to speak through his sobs. "Daisy, you are really married?" "Yes, for 3 years now. We have 2 beautiful children." Daisy smiled happily. 3 years ago, Daisy was 19. At 19, she had become another man's wife. He did not know how to describe his feelings. It was a complex mix, like salty tears falling into sweet pie, with a side of spicy short ribs. Many flavors all at once. Ryan suggested he come to their house. He could change out of his wet clothes. Leo shook his head. He had to go home. Daisy understood. She told him to visit when he had time. "Daisy." Leo lowered his head. "I have to leave the city." "Why?" Daisy was shocked. Leo remained silent. Daisy sighed. "I understand. When are you leaving?" "Tonight." Daisy wanted to say more, but Ryan led her to the back. After he finished the pie, Daisy and Ryan returned. They gave him a small package. It contained freshly baked bread for his journey. He took it and wiped his tears. He told them to live well. They promised to write. They would visit him once he was settled. Later, Leo and his parents settled in a quiet town. He stopped making short ribs. The dish reminded him of a difficult time, and of a man who loved them more than anyone. He started a new business selling soup. It became very popular. He learned things from his customers' conversations. Last year, Julian got married. This year, his wife gave birth to twins. When he heard this news, he was chopping vegetables. He almost cut his hand. It seemed Julian was not only interested in men. His parents must be relieved. None of it mattered to him anymore. He would never see Julian again. One evening, business was slow. He was about to close early. A customer called out, "Owner, 1 bowl of soup, with short rib dumplings." He answered without looking up. "Sorry, sir. We do not have that kind. We have chicken, vegetable, and mushroom." "Really? Nothing else?" The man slowly walked toward him. The voice was achingly familiar. Leo looked up sharply. He saw the face that had haunted his dreams for years. What a surprise. Julian smiled with a raised eyebrow. Leo looked around, ready to run. The matriarch had warned him. Her people were always watching. If he tried to return or see Julian, they would kill him. Julian grabbed his arm. "Do not run." "No one followed me." Leo was confused. What happened? Julian coughed lightly. "I am not the heir anymore." "Not the heir?" Leo asked tentatively. "Your father." Julian nearly choked. "Don't be ridiculous. I mean, my brother has my old position now. He is better suited for it anyway. I chose to come find you." He made it sound simple. But Leo later learned the truth. Julian had risked everything to be free. He truly was a romantic fool. "Why did you look for me?" Leo did not understand. "I told you 3 years ago." He took Leo's hand. He placed a soft kiss on it. "I like you, Leo." Just because he liked him? He gave up a position of immense power. He traveled so far. Was he trying to make Leo a villain in his story? Leo had never encouraged him. "Julian, I never said I liked you back." Even now, he was not sure of his feelings. They had been intimate twice. The first time was not consensual. The second time was a drunken mistake. Neither was innocent. He did not blame Julian, but a thorn remained in his heart. Julian was a good man. He was handsome, wealthy, and kind. Any person would find him hard to resist. But a voice inside Leo told him it was all wrong. Everything had been wrong from the very beginning. "Leo, I will not force you. I know what you hate." Julian smiled gently. "I just wanted to see you. Give me a chance. Let me try to win your heart. For real this time." Leo stared at his sincere face. He did not nod. He did not shake his head. Julian's expression began to fall. "Soup, what kind do you want?" he asked. Julian's eyes lit up. A brilliant smile spread across his face. "I want short ribs. Help me close up. I will make them for you when we get home." Under the setting sun, 2 figures pushed a small cart. They slowly walked toward home.